listeners. Welcome to another episode of Romance Unraveled. This is one of your co hosts, Jacob Bozen.
And this is another co-host, Jeremy Slater.
And this week, we get to please you all with one of my stories. We had a scheduling issue, so I always have backups. But I honestly could probably make this podcast, we've said it before, but I could make it go probably 6 months to a year on my stories alone. It's actually crazy. But this is a story that happened when I was maybe 21, 22 at the time, and this was in the year 2020. And I had met this guy named Matt on Tinder, actually, about out of all places. It wasn't Grindr this time, which was surprising to me. And
This was in DC.
no, this was in Utah.
Okay.
I haven't moved until to DC until like 2022. So yeah,
Mhm.
it was in Utah, and Matt was like a surfer. He was ripped, like muscles. He had like a Mustang. He was from California. He super hot, like everything. And he wanted to meet up with me after we matched, so we did. So he's like, "How about you come over to my apartment and we like order some food and watch a movie?" Because at this time it was under lockdowns from the government during COVID, and we couldn't really like go out on an actual date. It had to be at his place.
So you were going to spread COVID. You were going to be like patient zero for another variant.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah,
uh,
I was kind of, yeah, we don't need to get into that. Um,
was
but
he just is it giving like catfish energy? Because ripped Californian surfer seems like kind of a fantasy.
no, I never really thought of it that way at all. Like that was never a worry of mine.
That's
Um, But yeah, so we get to his place and he is like, "Oh, I don't want to make any food. Let's order food." So we order this really horrible Chinese food and we're watching our movie and he's asking me, "Oh, what do you want in life?" and whatever. And I'm telling him, "Oh, I'm looking for something serious." And at the time, I'm like 21 or 22 and he is 30. Okay. So this was like the biggest age gap that I had ever dated in my life. And it was kind of nerve-wracking for me because he was so much older. And
You
he's,
must have been so bored. This doesn't seem like your type at all.
well, he was until we get further into the story. So one of the questions we asked, like after figuring out like what we both wanted in life, he's like, "And where do you stand politically?" And at the time, I
Conservative Jacob, the
yeah, and I'm
Oregon
not a
straight.
liberal now, but I'm not a conservative either. But I was like definitely
Mm,
more on like the Trumpy side of things.
that's
And I am
hilarious.
embarrassed to say that because I literally
Yeah,
don't
you should be
like him at
embarrassed.
all. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, I am too." Like, yeah, like screw the
Oh my
Democrats.
God, a MAGA surfer. I guess that's kind of expected. They're like anarchist, I guess.
Yeah, so we clicked over that, and so that was our first date. It was fine and whatever. So then I kept seeing him for about a month, and each time it was just at his apartment. We would get takeout. It was mostly Chick-fil-A because he didn't cook. He literally didn't have anything in his pantry or fridge. He went to Chick-fil-A literally every day, and I am not exaggerating. Like it
Sounds
was
like a okay. Is he like straight? Also, why is he in Utah?
I can't remember why, actually, why he moved here. It was probably for a job or something, I don't know. Or to get away from what he was running from, which we will get into. And so I saw him for about a month, and I'm like, okay, now it's time to meet like my friends. And so I take him to meet my friends. They all really liked him. It was like pulling teeth to get him to come, but they all really liked him, and he drove a black Mustang and the whole thing. And so it was like, wow, this is the person you're seeing. So then about 2 months in, I'm like, okay, maybe he should meet my parents. but I didn't tell my parents that he was coming to our house. And so this car pulls up in a black Mustang, and my mom's looking out the window and she's like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, his name's Matt." And she says, "Is that who you're seeing?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, it's a really nice car." So he comes in and him and my parents like really like have conversation going really well. It's super easy. I'm like, "Oh, this is great. Everything is smooth. They like him. He likes them, the whole thing." So then it got into, I think it was July around this time in 2020 or something like that, and all the Black Lives Matter protests broke out across the country. And I remember that night when Salt Lake City was like being turned upside down and they were having like all these clashes. I was on my way to Matt's apartment. And I walk into his apartment and he's in his room frantic and he has got his gun cases out. He's
Oh
got at
my
least
God. Oh
three
my God.
guns laid out on his bed. And
Oh my God.
I'm like, "Matt, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Well, do you not see what's happening on the news?" And I'm like, "I do, but that is like not even, the clashes are not even close to where he was living. He was like, I don't know, 15 minutes away by like the freeway from downtown Salt Lake." And he's like, "I don't care. Like if they come around the neighborhood, I'm going to like shoot them."
You're
And
dating Kyle Rittenhouse's cousin.
he said like several racial slurs, like several. He
Oh,
was like,
good, good,
if he
good.
said,
Mm.
he's like, "Well, like if they're going to be like blank, then we are going to treat them like blank." And I'm just sitting there staring at him, and I'm like really embarrassed that I didn't like walk away then, but I didn't. I stayed
Yeah,
because
I was gonna ask if that was your liberal awakening,
no,
the
I've
hot
never had a
sniffer
liberal
bringing out his
awakening.
guns.
I am not a liberal. I'm not on the right either, though. Like they can both go to hell. And anyways, so yeah, he was like, he had the guns out the whole night and was a nervous wreck, thinking that people were gonna come around into the neighborhood and like set his apartment on fire or whatever. It was really weird. Like I didn't understand it at all. Then a few weeks goes by and we're just laying in his bed watching a movie because that's all we did. We couldn't go anywhere and everything was closed. Like it was always at his apartment, always Chick-fil-A, always laying in bed doing nothing. That's what we did. Not that I wanted to do that, but that's what he wanted to do.
Mm.
And he looks over to me really nervously one day and he says, "I have to tell you something." And I'm like, "Okay." And I'm
I don't
getting kind of
even know.
nervous.
I don't
And
even want to know.
he says, "I used to be like a drug addict."
Oh,
And I'm like shocked by this. And I'm like, Well, are you like still one? Like, are you using drugs
which
now?"
drug?
And he says, "Nope, I go to this group. They keep me on track. I have like a personal person that like reaches out to me every day, that sort of thing." And I didn't ask him what drugs. I didn't want to know. All I wanted to know was that he wasn't doing that anymore. So, and he told me that he wasn't, and he was doing well. So I was like, "Thanks for telling me."
But why is he saying this now?
We'll find out.
Oh, he's using a gun. Clearly.
And I'm like, "As long as you're not doing it now, I really don't care. Like it's okay. Thanks for telling me," and that kind of thing. So another few weeks goes by, and he's like, I'm on my way to his apartment, and he says to me, "Okay, as soon as you get here, we're going to go get a dog. You're gonna come with me to go get a dog." And I'm like thinking in my head, why? Like I hate dogs. Like I really do. And I'm like, why do you want a dog? Like a puppy too. It wasn't like he was getting like a mature trained dog. It was a puppy. And I'm like, okay. So we go to go get the dog. The dog's name is Max. And Max became his world after that. So anytime we would plan something or try to do something, Max would always become the excuse. So like he would say, Max shit all over the floor, or Max is sick, or I can't leave Max in the kennel. I can't do this with Max. Max can't come with us because he's too little, or whatever, whatever, whatever. So Max always became like the excuse. And I really learned to hate the dogs even more after this, honestly.
How long did this go on?
I would say with the dog thing, it probably went on for maybe a month, maybe 2 months.
Mm.
Yeah.
How many times do you think you saw him during that
I
time
saw
period?
him every week. Yeah,
Okay.
every week for
But it
sure.
was just difficult because of Max.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So then my cousin was getting married, and my cousin was getting married about 10 minutes away from Matt's apartment. And so I wanted him to be my date because that's who I was seeing at the time. And we were pretty well into it. About this point, we were maybe 4 or 5-ish months in. And I'm like, it's 10 minutes from your apartment. Like, you're gonna come. Like, Max is not gonna be the excuse. You're coming. So he told me he would. And it was a really big deal for me because it was a cousin on my dad's side of the family, and my dad's side of the family, they're all very Mormon. And so they all look at me and they're like, you're like thinking I'm like degenerate, essentially, and like not where I should be in life because I'm not Mormon. And
What's a Mormon wedding like?
well, funny enough, it was my cousin didn't get married in the Mormon temple. They got married outside of the temple, like at a normal wedding that anybody else would have. That, of course, was also looked down upon on the family because if you don't get married in the temple, that means you're not righteous enough.
You
Uh,
guys are just a satanic family. A gay
right,
son and a Mormon girl who gets married at a non-temple.
right. So for him to be there with me at this wedding, it was like a big middle finger to my dad's side of the family because they were awful to me. Like they just were. And I just wanted to be like, hey, like, no, like this can work. This can like be successful. Like I'm gonna show up, and if it makes you uncomfortable, go to hell. I really don't care.
Yeah. Here's
And
my Republican hot surfer from California with a past drug problem and a bitchy ass dog.
right, the
Period.
dream.
And I don't know how to cook. I only eat Chick-fil-A nuggets.
No, exactly. That's like the perfect description right there. And so I'm at the wedding and he's supposed to show up and I'm texting him and he's like, I can't come. I can't leave Max. And I'm like, Matt, put him in the kennel. It is 10 minutes away from your apartment. Well, he never came. And it was so embarrassing because I had told people that he was coming in my family. And when he didn't show, it was like, see, these things don't work, Jacob. Like, you can't, gay relationships don't work. Like, that was the thinking process.
Mhm.
It was super embarrassing. So I was furious. Like, I was really upset with him. And a few weeks goes by and he randomly texts me one night and he says, oh my God, bottoming sucks. I'm a top now. And I'm like, what? I'm like, no, you're such a good bottom. Ha ha ha. Like, you're a great bottom. Like, why would you like say that? And he didn't reply. And a few weeks
Wait,
goes,
wait. So you did you see him after the wedding at all? Before this conversation?
oh yeah, like we saw each other every week, but it was always at his apartment doing nothing.
Oh my God, young Jacob had no spine.
No, I
Why were
didn't.
you still talking to him?
I know, I had no spine. Because I guess I was desperate at the time. Like I was 21, 22,
I mean, I
and
would have done the same thing. I'm not judging.
wanted it so badly, and he was 30, and it was,
And he was a hot surfer from California. You
right.
shared your political ideology.
Yeah. And so about
And
a
your love for homophobic chicken.
right. Well, I do like Chick-fil-A, but not every single day. And he messages me that he is like a top now. He hates bottoming, and I'm like, "No, you're such a good bottom. Like, shut up." Like,
And you guys weren't open, so he's basically implicitly admitting that he cheated on you.
yeah, but I didn't understand why he was saying that. I really didn't. Like, I didn't even it didn't even click in my head. And so about a week goes by and I don't see him that week, but then he says to me, I'm gonna go buy a new Ford Explorer. Do you want to come look at the cars with me? And I couldn't for some reason. And so he sends me a picture and a video of him with his new Ford Explorer. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'll come see it in the next few days. You can take me on our drive. Like, congratulations on the new car. Well, I never hear from him. So like a day goes by, then 2 days go by, and then we're at a week, and then we're at like a month, and I am just gutted because this was like my very first like ghosting experience. And I had invested a lot of time and energy into him, and he just disappeared randomly one day. And I had not known what happened. Like, it really made me like feel horrible.
That's like an insane level of ghosting.
Yeah. And so like every time I would go to my friends in like Lehigh or Provo, which was south of where he lived, and I would drive like past his exit that I would normally get off, like it would like make me feel horrible. Like I hated it. Like I was always wondering, like, did something happen to him? Was I not good enough? Like, where is he? Like, what happened? Like I just didn't understand.
Did you try to like text him like multiple
Yes,
times
like
or call him or anything?
I did, and he just never replied.
Jeez.
And this went on for like a year. Like it messed me up for a year. Like it seriously screwed with me that long. And it was embarrassing because I'm like, why does this have such a grip on me? Like it was horrible. Like I would think about it every day. It just really put me down. Well, about a year, well, before I get to this, my one of my best friends, she's like, Jacob, what's his name? And I tell her his name, and she gets on her phone and does some research. And she's like, oh my God. And I'm like, what? She pulls up all of these articles on the news, and like, not necessarily on the news, but like police reports, like from the past 10 years, showing that he has been in and out of all of these drug charges. So, one of the reports that we read were he was driving in California like a madman on the freeway at like 5 in the morning. Someone called him in, police pulled him over. He's like on drugs big time, and he has a backpack in his Mustang full of like used syringes and drugs.
Oh shit. He was
Yeah,
doing like hardcore drugs.
like
God.
hardcore drugs.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, it of course didn't make the situation knowing that any better for me. Like I just felt bad, and just like at the time I was like just, missed him. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like if I could go back to him, I totally would. And my friend, she looks at me, she's like, Jacob, he is an addict. Even though he might be an ex-addict, they are always an addict and they always behave like one. And I knew that she was right, but it didn't matter to me. Like he had such a strong grip on me, like it just didn't matter. And so about a year goes by from the original ghosting, and I get a message from him randomly one day. He's like, "Hey, Jacob." And I'm like, taken aback. Like, I'm like, what? Like, it's been almost a year. Like, why are you messaging me? And so I took him a few hours to like process and then to finally reply. And he says, I just want to say that I'm sorry. I relapsed on drugs. I've been in a rehab center for like almost a year.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I hope you're doing better. Let me know if you ever need to like chat about this. I'm happy to like be there for you, essentially. He never replies. He drops off the face of the earth again. But by this time, it like helped me because I knew what had happened and he like apologized for it. So it was easier for me to like move on, essentially. Well,
Right.
that year I was working in the Utah Senate, and it was the very last day of our legislative session, which is like a 15-hour plus work day. And I was just exhausted. And at the end of the day, I got on Tinder and I matched with this random guy. And I'm leaving work and he messages me and I'm looking through his profile and he says, already in a relationship, just looking for friends. And if I had actually looked at his profile, I would have swiped left because I don't really am not looking for more friends. More friends are great, but that's not what I'm on Tinder for. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm just looking for friends. Add me on Snapchat." So I get home after like my 15 plus hour day, add him on Snapchat, look at his story, and his story is a video of him walking up to a Ford Explorer. He opens the door, and there sits Matt and Max in the front seat.
Mm.
And I am just like, what in the
Mm.
hell is this? So I message the guy that I matched with on Tinder. We can call him Kyle. I message him and I say, "Oh my God." And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "That is my ex." And he says, "Oh, well, he's my boyfriend right now." And I say to him, I'm like, "How long did you, like, when did you start dating?" Turns out that he literally started dating him the exact same time that Matt started dating me.
Mm. Good, good, good.
So he would just, I guess, depending on the day of the week, he would see him or me. And neither of us knew that that was the case.
That's so gross. I can't even. I also love how he's just like he has one boyfriend that's a top and one's a bottom, and he was just trying it out. But that's a complete verse king right there.
Yeah, I guess so.
We all need a verse king in our lives because they don't ghost us.
Well, so it turns out
Like
that,
that's insane. I can't. That's so much work too. But I guess if you're just out there selling drugs, like what else you gotta do? Just
right. So I message him back, and after he tells me that he started dating him when I started dating him, and he's like, "What?" And I said, "And you realize he's a drug addict, right?" And he says, "Well, he did have to go to rehab for like a few weeks when we like started dating, or like if like about 5 months after we started dating." And but he's like, he was only there for a few weeks. And I said, "Oh, that's funny because he told me that he was there for almost a year." And he's like, "No, he was only there for like 3 weeks." So it turns out that Matt thought Kyle was better than me and kicked me the curb and ghosted me, but he was like cheating on the both of us at the same time and we didn't know. So Kyle goes and wakes up Matt because it was like 1 a.m. at this point, and they're like staying together at night. And Kyle tells me, like, "I'm so sorry, like this is so crazy. Like I'm shaken up by this too." And he says, but Matt told me that you guys were never dating.
Of course he did. Of
And I
course.
said, Kyle, you know the timeline and you know the information that I gave you. I said, do what you will with it, but I was. We were dating and we were dating at the same time that you and him were dating as well. Like, it's obvious. And he says, well, I'm going to chat with him tomorrow about this. And never hear from him again until like, I don't know, a month later. And he says, hey, thanks for the information. Just wanted to let you know Matt and I are no longer dating. We just decided to be friends. So
Mm.
that's really where the story ends. I had seen, so Matt still follows me on social media. I can like, I don't follow him, but like I can like check his account. And I did a few years ago, and I probably will after this. But you can tell that he is on some like serious drugs. Like you can like look at his eyes and see that he's having some issues. And he hasn't posted since like 2022 on his social media, so I imagine something happened to him. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much where the story ends.
Well, I hope he gets the services he needs. Addiction is a bad and pernicious problem, so I hope he gets the services he needs. Yeah. And I'm happy that you survived that. I guess the takeaway is always do due diligence on people you're seeing. Have your friend or a sleuth like me. You can always hit me up, do a due diligence. I love it on the people that we're seeing. Let's find out some shit.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like when I'm looking back at it, it's like I cannot believe that it like messed me up for that long. And he had such a grip on me. Like it's so embarrassing, actually. Like it's
No, I mean it's like your first time opening up to someone, so it's a level of trust that you've like put onto someone, and then they basically deny you that recognition of like the trust you put into
well,
them.
I wouldn't say that that was the first time I had opened up to someone. I would say it was most certainly the first time that I had been ghosted. So that I think that's probably why it messed me up so bad. But
That's
yeah,
like criminal level of ghosting. I mean, I guess you would literally have to be on drugs to like do that level of ghosting, or just be a completely like terrible person.
right.
Because that's like a bit beyond the normal ghosting of we're gonna talk for a month and then I'm never gonna see you again. Like clearly he has issues going on and you should not take that to heart.
Oh, for
Um,
sure. Yeah, I don't anymore, but at the time I did. Yeah.
yeah. And
Um,
if anyone on this podcast is having a similar situation, do not take it to heart. They're probably a drug addict or a Republican surfer from California. So
either way. Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
one or the other.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for our listeners, as always, make sure you subscribe and save. We're streaming anywhere you can get your podcasts. Make sure you rate us as well. We expect nothing less than 5 stars. And then follow us on social media. It's Romance Unraveled on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And then if you have a story that you would like to share to come onto the show, you can message me directly on one of the social media platforms, and I will get you scheduled to come on. Until next time.